question of what next, right after their class 12 and class 10. They have to decide a stream out of humanities, science, and commerce. And the only career guidance he or she has is the opinion of their parents and teachers' judgment, mostly based on marks. They also get comments of their friends and neighbors. Now, when they have selected their stream, again the question arises, what next?
Hello.
It is at this point that a career counselor steps in and helps the child sail through these turbulent times. Today, in this virtual meeting of BDM International, I, Upama Ganguly, on behalf of the school, would like to take this opportunity to welcome our students from High Secondary Department. That is class 11. Our children are studying in different streams like science, commerce, humanities, and FML. In this virtual platform, we welcome AIM2EXCEL. With their assessment, I can hear some noise. Everyone is requested.
Excuse me, ma'am. There is one account. Excuse me, ma'am. There is one account with a wrong name. It says SUKZQF. He is creating a problem.
Yes, ma'am. This account has to be removed. Please remove this account, ma'am. Please.
Please remove the account.
Ma'am, please remove the account.
Is the problem on with our program. In this virtual platform today, we will welcome AIM2EXCEL with their assessment and career development program, aiming to help our students develop an awareness and acceptance of their unique talents and abilities. AIM2EXCEL's assessment and career development program have been developed with researchers from UC Berkeley, NYU, JNU, IIT Delhi, and NID. 12,000 plus children from 80 plus different schools, they have been benefited from their program. We have our speakers from AIM2EXCEL today, Mr. Ankit Narayan. Mr. Ankit is an alumnus of IIT Delhi and a Super 30. He's passionate about empowering people to lead purposeful lives. His role at AIM2EXCEL involves listening to people, listening to compassionate stories of children, parents, and educators, and designing better questions for self-assessment. Under his leadership, AIM2EXCEL has impacted the 12,000 plus children from 80 plus different schools. We welcome you to BDMI, Mr. Ankit.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
We also have Ma'am Vartika Mishra. Vartika ma'am is an educator with a career spanning over 2 decades, including 15 years experience of teaching children at different levels, guiding students to realize their full potential and working on their strengths and limitations is her core competency. Her vision is to create a legacy of happy individuals who realize their potential, create an impact on society, and lead a life of fulfillment. Welcome to BDMI, Vartika ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So without further delay, let us start with today's session. I'm sure children are very eager to explore their possibilities. Over to you, Vartika ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have put in a very pertinent question about the career goals and what the children should do in the future, and basically on their potential. What is their personality, what is their interest, and what they can do, what is their ability. So basically, there are 3 things which we see. One is the ability, which is the aptitude. Second is the interest of the child, and third is the attitude. What kind of work ethics, what kind of personality the child has, right? So I will not take too much time in introduction. Let's move on to the next slide of do's and don'ts. Ankit, please. Do we have the slide of do's and don'ts? Okay.
Not in this one. I will
Okay.
include it later.
Doesn't matter. So please, throughout the webinar, for your benefit only, keep your microphones on mute all the time, and we will be using the chat box to communicate anything which you need to communicate, and also we'll be asking you questions. You have to use the chat box only for that. In the end, we will have a Q&A session, and in that you can ask your questions, keep your questions ready, and we can we will answer all the questions which you have, all the queries which you have. Okay, so let's move on to a small ice-breaking activity. All of you, can you see this picture on the screen? Yes, you can communicate through the chat box. Please communicate. Yes, okay, good. Please keep your microphones on mute all the time. We will be using the chat box for communicating. Okay, very good. So now I want you to answer this question. What do you see in this picture? You can start writing. What do you see in this picture? Use your creativity, imagination, and your vision, whatever. Just start answering what you see in this picture. Start answering. There are so many, around 180 plus people, 180 plus students in this webinar. Okay, someone thinking, a person thinking about his future, a side face of a person, a lady, a woman, a girl facing backside, a close-up of side face, a boy, a profile of a woman, a lady, a student, someone lost in thought, a girl, someone is seeing at the sky. Okay, go deeper, go deeper. Look at it carefully. It's an abstract art of a lady with fur, woman in dilemma, side face of a woman confused, person thinking about something, lady thinking about her past life. Okay, more answers. Girl in dilemma, an old lady with a happy face, a young lady and an old lady. Okay, good. A lady. All right, I'll give you a few more seconds to answer. A girl thinking about her future, girl watching the sunset, lady thinking something. Okay, woman enjoying cold wind. Okay, very good, very good. Just few more seconds. Old lady ignoring the society, thinking forward. Okay, girl seeing the picture, the sky. Lady in thought. Old lady. Girl lost in her thoughts. Girl in young and old age. All right. Girl is thinking deeply. Okay. Thinking about things, good things and bad things in life. Child, lady lost. All right. So many answers we've got. Person looking at something from side. Person lost in her past life. Okay. We've got so many answers, about hundreds and hundreds of answers. Right. Okay. So I'll go on with this activity. Right. So what just happened here? What happened? You got so many answers looking at the same picture. One single picture created, so much impact on your mind, and you were able to answer so many, give so many answers, so many interpretations, so many perceptions of the same picture. And all these answers are correct. There is an old lady, there is a girl with a scarf, there is someone lost in thought. All these answers are correct. So what does that mean? What does that show? That we have different perceptions of, we see things with a different lens. Whenever we see a picture, whenever we see something, okay, we see something in a different, perception. We have some different beliefs, we have different experiences and all, right? So if we replace the simple picture with the most complicated thing in the world, which is our human mind, if we replace it with a human mind, just imagine how complicated things will become. Right? So what I want to say, what I want to prove here is that we see each and every individual is different. They have their own potential, they have their own interests, they have their own behaviors and personalities, and they see or they do things, they feel things in a different way from the other person. We cannot compare one person to the other, right? They have their different talents and different traits. So that is what AIM2EXCEL wants to do. We want to get into your subconscious mind. We want to have an X-ray of your mind to find out what is your real potential. You might not know about it. What is your talent, what is your trait, what is your personality, and then we combine each and every of this dimension to find out what is good for you, what is the best for you, what career goal or what subject stream you should choose, and how you should go about to lead a successful life and also a happy life. A happy life is one where you are using your full potential. You're using your own traits and talents. You're not being forced to do something which you don't like. You're motivated from within. So this is the point which I want to bring about through this icebreaking activity, right? So now we go on to the next part. Ankit.
Yes. Can you see the screen and hear me properly?
Yes.
So before we begin about how exactly can you take the assessment, I'll very briefly summarize the agenda of today's session. So today we're going to do three things. First, we are going to, and again, when we say we, so all of us together. So we're going to understand the relevance of a career guidance, career development program for you, for the class 11 students in class 11. Then we're going to understand how can you go to our website and take the test, take the online assessment, and get the report. And finally, we'll also see the report that you will get. What are the different things that the report has, and how can it benefit them. So three things. First, why a career guidance program is relevant. Second, how can you take the test, and third, what is the kind of report that you need to get. Right. Before we begin about that, let me very quickly introduce the organization. Already there has been a good amount of introduction there, so I'll very briefly sum it up. Right. So at AIM2EXCEL, our goal is to shape successful and happy career for you. For those of you who are listening as parents, so again for your child. Right. So focus on the term successful as well as happy. How do we do it? We do it through our twin programs. So the first part of our programs is reliable, unbiased, and expert career counseling. Second part is we also give solution to discipline, distraction, and anxiety issues. Right? Because we believe that to actually get into a top college or to actually get into a, for example, a highly skilled field, you have to have your academic performance also sorted out. And that is why it becomes crucial that you are disciplined, you are free from distraction, and you can manage your anxiety. As you have already been told, we already have covered roughly 12,000 plus students across 80 plus schools, and these schools come from diversity of say, backgrounds and from different states. Some of our partners have been Bharti Foundation, You Dreamers Foundation, which are non-profits. They have also worked with some prominent private schools in and around Delhi NCR as well, which is Modern Delhi Public School, Women International School, and so on. We also have worked with career counselors who use our assessment to help basically guide their children. For example, entry connection. You already have got a brief about me as well as Vatika ma'am. We have been very lucky or very fortunate to be guided by expert psychologists from prominent institutions across the globe. So we had Professor Mahesh Srinivasan from University of California, Berkeley. We had Professor Vishal Singh from New York University. We had Professor Arvind Kumar Mishra. He has been the constant guide and mentor throughout our journey. We had Professor PVM Rao from IIT Delhi. And we had Raman Saxena from NID, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, guiding us in the process of developing and designing the platform as well as the assessment. So now I will hand over to Vartika ma'am for a bit to help you understand why it's important to know yourself and what kind of processes underwrite that in. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ankit. Ankit, there's a little disturbance in your line. If you could just check that.
Yes, I'll check that. I'll resolve that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So what you can see on the screen, can you just write in the chat box? What do you see on the screen? What is that figure? What is that drawing? Answers? What do you see? It's an iceberg. Okay, very good, very good. And the last time we, heard about, or interacted about iceberg was, when this movie Titanic, we saw the movie Titanic. If you most of you must have seen it, and this was a huge ship, and it collided with the seemingly very small iceberg, right? And it sunk. This was a very huge ship. It was a seemingly very small iceberg, but generally what an iceberg is, you see only a very small part of it, above the water, and most of it is submerged in the water. Like, for example, 10% is visible and 90% is not visible. It's inside the water. Now, we are going to do a small activity on this. Iceberg, we are relating an iceberg with an event or anything in a situation in our life. That event or a situation or a happening could be a sad event or a happy event. For example, if you have taught the class, okay, in class 10th, you taught the class, or you got really good marks in your board exams, 10th board exams. So that is an event, that's a happy event. And what are the factors which are, or patterns of behavior behind that event? This is what we are going to follow now. Now, what are the factors or patterns of behavior behind that? Suppose you have taught the class 10 in a school. Now, there could be some internal factors and external factors. External factors could be your two teachers were really very good. They had the domain knowledge. They could strategize. They created proper timetables. There was a lot of academic rigor given to you, a lot of class tests, and a lot of preparation. Okay. Second could be you had tutors at home who were really, very passionate about teaching you, and they really worked hard for your marks. Third could be your parents supported you a lot. Okay, these could be the external factors leading to a very good score in class 10, right? Internal factors could be you yourself, your hard work. You were really hardworking, you were very motivated, your goal was clear that I have to get 95% or whatever, above 95%, and you worked hard, you made your timetable, you followed the timetable, you strategized, right? So these were the internal factors leading to that event, right? So whatever happens in your life, happy or sad, just try to make this drawing, make this drawing like this on a sheet of paper of an iceberg. Write an event on top, and then write what are the internal factors on one side, what are the external factors on the other side. And you will be able to understand that there are so many things, which are hidden, which are submerged inside you, and which are leading to this event. Okay. So this activity, you can do it at home. Suppose you take up, any event, happy or sad event. Suppose sad could be you had a fight with your best friend, or you had any kind of other social or emotional or motivational issue. You write that you had a conflict with your parents, anything. Something happened in school, something happened at home. So you just write that event on the top. That only that event is visible. Then you write the internal factors and then external factors leading to that event. You will be able to understand why this event happened. Okay, if it's a sad event, why this event happened, and you would be, so most of the time the external factors are beyond our control. In a very limited way we can control the external factors, but we can control our internal factors all the time. How we are behaving in a situation. Was it our own fault that this happened? Or if it's a happy event, was it because of my own strength this happened? Okay, so try doing this at home, with a single event, and let's see how it goes. And you can share that also with us on email or something, and we can help you with that. So always look for internal and external factors leading to that event, which will give you a clarity over what you should have done and what you can do in future later on, right? So let's move on to the next part. Ankit?
Okay. So as Vartika ma'am shared, right, that behind every event there are certain internal as well as external factors. The agenda of this session is to help you realize how AIM2EXCEL program will be helping you uncover a lot of your internal factors. But before you go on, I would very likely to quickly, briefly, and precisely highlight some of the external factors which are becoming very, very crucial in today's day and age. Right? And as you definitely all of you understand, and we have been also sharing since the very beginning of this session, that choosing the right career is complex and confusing, and this often leads to anxiety. A lot of you might have faced this anxiety, a lot of you might have faced this confusion when you had to choose a subject combination. And because we want to minimize that anxiety and that confusion when you have to choose a college or course after class 12, that is why this program will be helpful. So let's quickly look at some of the external factors which play a significant role. First, automation. Research says that 7 in 10 jobs will either be automated or will be lost when you enter the world of work. Right? 7 out of 10, 70% of the jobs will either be automated or will be lost to automation. Second, flexibility. Again, data points out that in future, on an average, people will work 17 different jobs. That number today is roughly 4 to 5. What it means? It means that one of the core ability to succeed would be the ability to reinvent oneself. And again, what it means that you need to keep unlearning and relearning multiple times over in your childhood, in your throughout your lifespan. Third, even the skills of the future are going to be much different, the ones in demand from the ones of the past. As you can see in the slide here, jobs of the future like professionals, managers, sales, they involve a lot more of emotional social intelligence compared to jobs of the past. Right? Some numbers put that estimate at 70% more than jobs of the past. So even not only the jobs are going to change, but also the skills required to excel in those jobs, that also is going to change. Finally, compared to again 10 or 20 years back, most of us have a smartphone, most of us who are attending this webinar have a smartphone in their hand. So we have access to cheap and readily available information. At the same time, we now are aware of a lot more choices than our parents were aware of earlier. What it means? It means that the number of choices is staggering. But also, as we often see while we have to choose a smartphone or any other buying decision that we make nowadays, because of a lot of choices, we often keep delaying that decision, which is what we call indecision. Or when we actually have to make that decision, we face a lot of confusion. So automation, flexibility, changing nature of skills required, and finally what we call information overload. So these are the core external factors that we point out is going to shape how we decide careers in future. So this is the juncture at which we started, at which AIM2EXCEL started as a team. And what we thought that can we imagine a personalized compass to choose and navigate the right career path. Please note the highlighted words here, right? So first of all, what is a compass, right? So we all of us are aware of a map. So basically, a map is when you have a point A where you are, and you have a point B where you want to go, and then the map basically charts a linear path from A to B. In reality, that is often not how things work. What we need is more of a compass, where we might not know where we want to land up eventually, but it's always pointing towards one direction, maybe towards the north. Right? Similarly, if we have a compass which does not get outdated and which always also works when there is ambiguity or lack of clarity regarding the final end state, then also it can work. Right? Another thing is that it has to be very, very personal. For the compass to be effective, it has to be true to us, true to you as an individual. And finally, this compass need not only be relevant for choosing the right career, it is also very, very critical. It should also be very, very critical, important, and relevant for navigating the right career, basically building a career trajectory. So, what did we come up with? We came up with this psychometric assessment tool called AIM, where A stands for ability, I stands for interest and personality, and M stands for motivation. To put it simply, the AIM tool helps the parent, or if you're listening to this as a student, helps you get answers to these three fundamental questions about yourself. First, what are you good at? Second, what do you enjoy doing? And third, what is important for you? So these are the three questions that we try to help you answer through our psychometric test. So now let us quickly look at what kind of assessments and what kind of research has gone into this thing. Right? As you can see on the screen here, so in total, we assess you on 6 areas. The three on the left that you can see, cognitive intelligence, emotional intelligence, and social intelligence. These are the three which form the ability bucket. On the left, then you can see interest and personality, which form the I bucket. And at the bottom, you can see motivation. In total, you are assessed on 23 different dimensions. And all of this research is basically has been done by eminent psychologists from Harvard, Yale, UC Berkeley, we have not defined a new area, we have not defined a new dimension. We have just took up what is the best possible available from which is validated by research, and we have made out questions on that basis. So now let us quickly look at one or two sample questions that you will be encountering. This was the first question that one of the first tests that you will be doing. So this is a test of emotional perception, which is your ability to understand and to identify emotions in your own self. Okay? What you have to do in this task, you will see picture of an actor and following, and the actor will be posing and portraying a particular mood. Below the picture, you will see different emotions. What you have to do, you have to figure out how much of each emotion is present in that picture. For example, how angry this person seems to be, or how surprised this person seems to be, or how disgusted this person seems to be. As you can note, this question is very, very different from the kind of question that you encounter in a test or exams in school or in other places. Right? So this is completely non-academic. Right? I will show you another question. So this is an assessment of social reasoning, your ability to reason in a social situation. Right? In fact, I would want all of you to listen, hear the instructions properly and try answering this. This is very simple, very easy to just to help you understand. So what you can see on the top is a comic strip, right? One of the frames is missing. What you have to do, you have to pick out which of the four options given below. If put, they will complete the story. I will give you 1 minute of time. You can type your answer in the chat box. You can either type 1, 2, 3, or 4. Whichever of the four images do you think, if put there in the place of the question mark, will complete the story. Your time starts now. You still have a few seconds. A lot of students have answered 3 or 4. I would again want, if you because you have time, so please reconsider your option. Right? Try to look at all the information that is given in the pictures. Also, people who have answered already, think about how you actually arrived at the answer. What kind of knowledge and what kind of logic did you use to get at the answer? You don't have to share that with me. That is just for your own internal understanding. I see there are a lot of ones and threes in the options. Right? Again, and you seem to be fairly on the target, right? So the correct answer lies between 1 and 3. I'm not going to go into the detail of which is the correct answer, why is the correct answer, because again you still have to take the test, right? But again, you understand that this is completely non-academic. So a lot of students who might have the fear because we are not good in academics, we might not do well on this test. So that is not going to be the case. And also we have tried to make these questions fun for you to take. So we do not want you to read elaborate statements, and we don't want to put a lot of like this. So these are fun to take as well as difficult for you to fake or cheat. So that has been the primary focus regarding these assessments. Now, after you have taken this, so basically what you have to do after this session, right? So you have to again, as I earlier mentioned, the first step is going to be you will take the assessment. Second, so in this case, you will attend the second webinar on Monday at the same time, which will basically be an explanation of the report, and then you will also receive your report of the test that you gave by the end of this month. So that will typically happen between 25th to 30th of August, right? So now let us quickly jump into the most important part of this session. And again, if you are not focusing earlier already, please do focus for the next 2 to 3 minutes because that is going to be most crucial. And again, I will also share these instructions with you through message on your groups, so that there is no chance for you of making an error. But still, please listen to all of this very, very carefully. Okay? The first step is going to be go to this website, assess.aim2excel.in. I'm also typing it in the chat box so that you can note it down. So this is the website on which you have to go, right? And when you go to this website, you will see the screen which looks similar to what is being shown here, right? Please click on the login button once you enter this website. Do not click on register button, click on the login button. The reason being because we already have created an account for you so that you do not have to put the effort of creating a new account. Then in this next screen that will come, you have to enter your username and password, right? So all the username for all of you follows a very similar template, right? you basically have to write 11 dash, then you have to write the name of a section dash followed by roll number. For example, so what I have been shared with the school, so there in total this 9 sections in class 11, right? So science B, science C, science D, commerce A to D, FMM and arts, right? So you have to mention those sections in the sections place, and then after that you have to mention roll number. I've also given two examples here. So suppose if a child studied in section SCB and his roll number was 5, so then his username would be 11 dash SCB dash 5. Please note that there are no spaces in the username and you have to write all the things in capital letters. Right? Similarly, if there was another student, she was studying say section FMM and her roll number was 12, so then her username would be 11 dash FMM dash 12. Right? Now to see if you have able if you have understood this correctly. Now let's very quickly tell me, if a student was studying in say commerce D section and his roll number was 15, what would be his username? Please type that in the chat box so that I understand that you have got it right. Please write username of a child who studies in class section commerce D and has username 15. Okay, it's wonderful to see that most of you have understood it right. I would also request that if some of you if any of your friends who might have missed this session, you can please communicate the same to them. I will also be sharing these instructions through you via your school so that there are minimal chances of you making a mistake. Right? Achha, another question that this is the username. The password for all students is going to be the same in the beginning. That's the default password. It is 123456. Right? I'm also typing that in the chat box. The password for all students is the same in the beginning. It is 123456. You have a choice of changing the password once you log into the system, right? And once you successfully log into the system, before you can actually start taking the test, you will have to fill some details. So these will basically be your gender, your date of birth, your marks in school, and so on, right? So there will be one question, one space which basically talks about you entering your academic marks. So those marks are in percentages, right? And those are aggregate marks. So please enter the final marks equivalent of what you got in class 10th, right? So suppose so again you have to basically do a grade equivalent of the marks or the percentage marks that you got in class 10. Do not enter the mark that you got for any unit test which has been conducted in this academic session. Please enter the percentage equivalent of your grade marks that you got in class 10, right? Another step which is going to be very, very crucial in this before you can actually start taking the test is filling your email ID. Please enter a unique and valid email ID. If you try to enter a dummy email ID, it will not work. You will not be able to go to the next stage. And please make sure that this email ID that you write there is the correct one, as you will receive your report on that email ID only. After you have successfully completed all the profile step, which might take you not more than a minute, you will see this screen. So this is where you have to start taking the assessment, right? And basically there are going to be 3 missions. Each mission has 5 different tests, so there are 15 tests in total, right? You have to complete all 15 tests, and only then you can get the report. Completing all the 15 assessments tests in total in one go would require you 2.5 hours. That is why we do not suggest you to do that in one go. Please take a break of at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour between any of the 2 missions. We would strongly recommend you to complete all 15 today itself, again as has been discussed with the school also, right? But you can again obviously take breaks of 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and half an hour between any of the 2 missions. Some of the key pointers that you have to keep in mind while you're giving this thing, while you're giving this test. First of all, there is no time limit, right? So while I said that it's going to take you 2.5 hours, it's not going to make any difference if you take more time. So do not worry about the time. Second, many of the tests do not have a right or wrong answer. Especially test of personality, test of interest, and test of motivation. They do not have a right or wrong answer. They are just basically there to understand what is exactly your profile. So your honesty is going to be utmost important here. Right? As I already mentioned, this test benefit every student, irrespective of how well they are doing academically. So even so, you don't have to fear that, okay, because I'm not doing well academically, so this test might not benefit me. This benefit each and every student. Okay? Finally, before you start each test, you will see an instruction video. This is not only going to help you understand how to attempt the questions, but will also give a background of why this particular test is crucial and how this is going to help you in future. So I'll definitely request all of you to listen to that instruction video. Finally, there are going to be some assessments, some tests which might have a little difficult questions, right? So those are only intended to differentiate between students. You're not expected to get all the questions correct. So please do not take a lot of stress if there are one or two questions here and there which you're not able to answer correctly. Just to recap before I pass on to Vatika ma'am, right? Key simple messages. First, take each and every test sincerely. Second, take time to answer the questions patiently. Third, answer with honesty because it's of utmost important. And finally, each question is important for us to know about you. You cannot skip any question. We do not have the provision for that. Now I would want to hand over to Vartika ma'am, who will talk to you about what exactly will you receive in the report that you're going to get after you complete the assessment. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ankit. So this was the, am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
So this was the most important part because you have to take the test. And if you still have any confusion, in the end, we will have the Q&A session and you can ask questions how to take the test because you are supposed to take it today or complete it by today or tomorrow, right? Okay, now after the test, you will get a 40-page report. This will be an automatically generated report from the system, okay? And so what do you expect in this report? So we'll go on with that. First of all, do we have the slides, Ankit? Yeah, right. First of all, the first page will show a SWOT analysis. What does that mean? It will show your talents, key personality traits, your strengths, your limitations, and your interest. Okay. Now, what does talent mean? Talent means your cognitive ability, basically, your critical thinking ability, okay, your comprehension ability. In layman's terms, what is your IQ, your intelligence quotient, right? So in that, the talent will appear. The box of the talent will show your cognitive ability. Okay. Now, the key personality, what will the key personality show? Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, whether you're a conformist or you're open to new experiences, whether you have high work ethics or you like to work spontaneously. Okay, whether, and we will also tell you if you have a high emotional distress, if you have high anxiety level or not. Okay, now in the strengths and limitations will be the emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and motivation level. Emotional intelligence is very important. How you manage your own emotions, how you perceive your emotions, how you are you able to understand your emotions or not. Social intelligence, are you able to understand the other person's emotions or not, how the other person is thinking and feeling. And of course, the motivation level, how well motivated you are to start a task and sustain it. So all that will show in the strengths and limitations part. Then will come the interest, whether you like to work with ideas, whether you like to work with people, whether you like to work with data, whether you like to work with things. So accordingly, interest is very important because your interest should match with what you want to do in future. So according to your interest, your career goals should match. So all these things, all these dimensions will be taken into account when giving to you the careers and streams. Okay. Now the next one, the next slide, the next page in the report will show the best fit careers. We will be giving you 3 best fit careers, the best choices of the subjects, and also the leisure activities. We will talk to you about the best fit careers and how we reach this conclusion in the next webinar on Monday. Yeah. Okay, this I will talk to you about right now. We will also be giving in the report the learning styles and study habits. So why is learning style important? Why should you know how well you learn? Why it is important? Because if you adopt or use the learning style which you are good at, how you learn the best, then it is directly correlated to your academic performance. Your academic performance will enhance. You will get better marks. You will learn better in a better way if you adopt and use the learning style which is given to you. So there are three kinds of learning styles which we are focusing on. One is the verbal and visual. So sometimes, a student likes to learn verbally. That is, likes to read from the text and read and understand from the text, from the books. And sometimes the child or the student is a visual learner. What does that mean? He or she likes to learn through graphs, diagrams, flow charts, making bullet points, or using different kind of highlighters or colors. So that is a visual learner. So if you're a visual learner, you should try to convert the text into a flow chart or a diagram or bullets and all. So you'll learn better that way, right? Converging and diverging. A convergent learner, it's like a funnel. He or she will assimilate all the information and come to a conclusion and try to learn from the text, and he or she is a better, he will always be better in taking an entrance exam. Divergent learner is a person who has, who's open to new ideas. He or she will like to discuss a lot, be part of groups, do group studies, learn from the environment, learn from YouTube and documentaries or talking to people, right? Convergent learner will be more, kind of a bookish kind of learner, and divergent will be, outside the classroom and learn from other people or other places. Academic and practical. Academic learner, again, will learn through books, textbooks and all in the classroom. Practical learner will learn from experiences, learning by doing, right? For example, if the child has to learn chemistry, he'll learn better through a laboratory. If a child has to learn biology, he will learn better through, seeing things in the nature, seeing the plants and the trees and the birds, right? So these are the kind of learning styles, and you can adopt when you get the learning styles. You can use these learning styles in your study habits when you're studying at home. It will be much more beneficial for you. Okay. Next, what do you see in the report? We have given a detailed development plan. It is very important and you should read through it properly. In this development plan, we are giving you how to work on your limitations. If you have, suppose, a low emotional quotient or a low motivational level or low cognitive intelligence, then what you can do to improve on that. We are also giving you how to strengthen your strengths. Whatever your strengths are, which are given in the report, we will also be giving you the development plan on how to make them better, because that is your core competency. When you strengthen the strengths, you become a leader in that field, right? So a detailed development plan, please read through it. Ankit, yeah. And then we will also give you a detailed profile of each and every dimension mentioned in the each and every component, psychometric component of the report. And in the end, we will give you 3 career pathways. So in the beginning, we have given you 3 careers, and in the end, we are giving you career pathways of those 3 careers. In these career pathways, what all will be included? A knowledge and skills required in that career, pros and cons of that career, education, what kind of education, whether you have to do an undergrad degree and also a master's degree, and or what kind of education is required for the career pathway. We will also give you the top recruiters and top colleges, whether you want to study in India or abroad. So all these things will be given in the 3 career pathways in the report. So this is in short what to expect in the report. Yes, Ankit.
One student asked in the chat box to explain the username thing once again. So yes. I'm doing that right here. Okay. So as I said, the first step is for you to go to the website which has been written on the screen. It's assess.aim2excel.in, right? Sometimes students make a mistake of making an incorrect spelling for the assess part. So please note that carefully. It's ASSESS assess.aim2excel.in. Once you go to the website, please click on the login button. Do not click on the register button, as we already have created an account for you. When you click on the login button, you'll be asked to enter your username and your password. The username of all of you follows the similar structure. It starts with 11 dash, then you have to write your section dash, then you have to write your roll number. Right? I have given the names of all the sections here on the screen. I will also be sharing this through via the school with you on your different groups. So you'll be able to access it there also, right? Please note that these roll numbers, again, sometimes the roll number student changes from class 10 to class 11. Some of you might have come to this school from different school. So if you have a confusion regarding roll number, please contact your concerned teacher, right? So I will also give you one or two examples of what is correct roll number. So suppose if a child was studying in section SCB and a roll number 5, so his roll number would be 11 dash SCB dash 5. If there was a child who was studying in say section FMM and a roll number 12, so her username would be 11 dash FMM dash 12. Please note that there are no spaces in the username, and you have to write the username in capital letters. Again, I would repeat that the password of all the students set by default is the same. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have a choice of changing the password right after you log into the system. Right? So this is about how can you take the assessment. Right? I believe that, and again, so now we open the session to questions, right? If there are any questions regarding how to log in or any other aspect that we've discussed in the session today, you can drop me an email on ankitn@aim2excel.in, or you can send me a WhatsApp message on the number that is given below, which is 981-895-3806. Unless super critical, I would advise you not to give me a call. I might not be able to answer the call immediately, but I would definitely be answering all the queries on WhatsApp, right? So please prefer email or WhatsApp as a medium to communicate for any queries that you have regarding login or anything else that you want to understand, right? So I see another question that is, so one student has asked, sir, in the stream, if there is no option PCMB, so what shall we select? So, as I clarified before, the information of which sections are available has been shared to me by the school. So, which section would PCB belong to? I would request if there is a representative from any of the class teachers of class 11, they may be the better person to address it. Or otherwise, you can contact a concerned class teacher after this session. I will also write the email ID and phone number in the chat box.
Yeah.
Ma'am, have we come to the end of the session?
Yeah, so we are just waiting for some time so that if there is any query and any questions, we can address that.
Children, if you have any query, you can.
Yes. So there's been another question by a child
in the chat box.
So there is another question that in the chat box which says why there are only 3 majorly divided careers. What about the other options? So as I said, so these 3 that you see here on the screen in the report. So these 3 are the best fit career options for you. Right? So these 3 have been picked up from a bigger pool of careers because these 3 have a maximum amount of alignment and are the best fit with your psychological profile. Right? It does not mean that there are only 3 careers. These 3 will be different for each student. They are basically determined by the fit that these careers have with your psychological profile. These have been taken from bigger pool of careers. So Pragya Singh has asked, sir, SCA is not in there. So as I said, Pragya, so the list of sections was shared to me with the school. I will again check back to the school and SCA section is not there. I will create that and again update you through your class group, right? So Devriti has asked, when do we have to attend the test? As I said, you can attend the test starting just after this session, and I would strongly advise all of you to complete all the 3 missions by end of the day today. Please note that if you fail to complete all the assessments in the worst case by Saturday, you will not be receiving a report. So please make sure that you not only start the assessment today, you complete as many missions as possible today, most of them. If because of certain situation you cannot complete today, please complete it by the end of this week. One question that's come, is there any proper guidance to crack NDA? So Aditya, the purpose of these 2 webinars and the assessment is for you to understand what exact career path is going to be the right fit for you, right? We are not going to address how you can actually get into that career. If you want that help, you can directly contact us after the session, and we would love to help you out. Kaushiki is asked, what about artificial intelligence? So, Kaushiki, as of today, artificial intelligence is not one career among the career pool, and also artificial intelligence is not a career path; it is a field. A lot of different professionals use artificial intelligence. It may be software engineers, it may be data scientists, it even may be say product managers, right? So, depending on which, so we have listed down the career paths. We have not listed down the fields in which you can take a work, right? Because people in different fields, people in different career paths can use artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is not a career options in our list of careers. Meenakshi is asked, when are you going to get our results? As I said, you will get your results between 25th to 30th of August. Yeah. So another question that has come, what about hotel management as a career option? So as I said, so that will be shared in the, so again, it will be the 3 best fit careers for you will be shared in the report. So I would request you to wait till you complete the assessment and you get the report for you to see which career options are best suited for you. Because we do not have the bandwidth to address queries about the scope of each and every career right now in this session. Maybe you can take some of them up in the next session as well. So Oroni has asked, when can we log into the website? If the section of ID 11 SE is not there, you can log into the website in just 1 hour, right? Every other detail remains the same for you. It's just that instead of say SCB or SCD, you will basically write 11-SCA-roll number. So all students from section SCA, you are requested to try logging in not before 1 p.m. You will have that thing at that time. Madhusudan asked, will the 3 best fit careers also contain cricket? No, we have not included any of the sports fields as a career options in our list of careers as of today. So you will not get cricket as a career options in the 3 careers. Again, event management again. So that again will be addressed in the next session, in the session on Monday. Okay, as I said, so questions regarding which career options will be there, will not be there, those will now be addressed in the webinar on Monday.
And somebody has asked, when can you attend the test? Immediately after this webinar, you can start.
The students from section SCA, you wait till 1 p.m. to start the test. Everybody else can start the test right away, right after this session. And you're strongly advised to complete all the 3 missions by the end of today itself. As I said, you did not complete all the 3 missions in one go. Please take a break. We strongly advise you to take a break, right? All your progress is saved while you're taking the test. So you can complete 1 mission, take a break, start the 2nd mission, again take a break and complete the 3rd mission, right?
And when you take a break, I mean, we advise that you take at least 20 minutes break within the missions. When you take a break, please log out and remember the password, login details, and then log in again. Note down the login details somewhere.
One child is asked, will there be career option contain music? So we have a career option called performing arts. So if that is recommended, then again, so music comes under performing arts. So if you get performing arts is one career recommendation that you can get. Khushi is compulsory to take a break. No, it's not compulsory. We recommend it. You can complete the assessment without taking a break as well. As I said, so you are strongly advised to complete all the 3 missions today itself. However, if you cannot do it because of certain reason, please complete it by the end of this week. The time duration of each assessment varies between 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and there are 15 assessments in total. Before we leave, I'll just very quickly explain the username process once again. Right? You have to go to this website. It's assess.aim2excel.in. Then you have to click on the login button. Do not click on the register button. Right? In the username, you have to write 11-section-roll number. The list of sections is given here on the screen. I'll be creating the usernames for section SCA within this next 1 hour, so you can start the assessment from 1 p.m. Okay? Please note that there are no spaces in the username, and you have to write a username in capital letters only. The password for all the students by default is the same. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally, if you have any queries regarding, again, even after the session, you can always drop me a message on WhatsApp. That is the preferred mode of communication. Or you can write to me by an email on ankitn@m2excel.in. I've also shared my email ID and phone number in the chat box. You can copy it from there also. And if any of you have a confusion regarding roll number, please contact your concerned teachers. So that sums up the content from our side. If you want, you can close the session.
Thank you so much, Vartika ma'am and Ankit sir, for speaking to our children today. I absolutely enjoyed this session. Such a wonderful overview on talents, traits, strength, limitations, and interest. I wish we had you during our school days. Thank you, children, for being such a wonderful audience. I'm sure this session has helped you explore your possibilities, and now you can make your informed choices about your career and follow those choices. Children, regarding your assessment, Ankit sir has already given a clear idea. Still, if you face any problem, please take the assistance of your class teacher. We have our class teachers here. Class teachers, if you have any problem, you can ask Ankit sir and Vartika ma'am. Class teachers, do we have any problem?
No, ma'am.
As of now, nothing from my side. As of now.
No, ma'am. Nothing, ma'am.
Great.
So
It
we
was
can
really
end
great.
the session here today.
And really thank you from my side. Thank you very much, sir and ma'am, for guiding the children this way.